What is up? What is up, everybody? Hey, what is going on? We are on a Monday, knocking out my video before we head home. Hope everyone had a great weekend. We had a very good community weekend, and we were able to hang out with our sponsor, 8 Sleep. Got community things done, and now it's Monday. Just wanted to say what is up, guys. I chose some routes. I got to be home at a certain time for my lady, so we chose the Home Depot, and we're gonna choose a random Target. I started at one of my favorite locations in Livermore, but anyways, guys, I think I'm gonna keep the POV of the camera on the actual windshield. I actually really like the film from San Francisco. I feel like you guys were able to see a lot, but talking about this weekend, it was John, Kelvin, Joe, 8 Sleep. We had a bunch of people come to the event, and we also had it underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, so we had a lot of people visit, hang out, ask us what the heck we were doing there, and I think it was a really good turnout. I really think we did a very good job. I was able to get one. I've had 2 nights with it, and let me tell you, I don't sweat anymore. I've been able to track everything from snoring to how many temperature changes throughout the night. So far so good. The 8 Sleep bed, if I could talk about it, is pretty much a sheet that goes over your existing bed. I know it sounds crazy, right? Like a sheet, like what the heck? What I love about 8 Sleep so far, the 2 days I've had it, and it does say on my app it needs to learn my body for another 5 days, is just the easiness of it. Like the app, setting it up, it probably took my lady and I about 45 minutes to set up. As a blue collar worker, sleep is essential. You know what I mean? We got to make sure we get our sleep. We got to make sure we're well rested. Because we're on roofs, ladders, ceiling tiles. Our bodies kind of go through it. But super excited about that. It's kind of paid off, to be honest, the past 2 days. Shout out to the sponsor. Community. I believe that the Tesla car community is something different. Not saying we're better than everybody else, but just the way we are as a community there, we're there for each other, and just hanging out, just like-minded people hanging out, talking about Tesla life, and that's why I encourage people to go to meetups. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. At least you can kind of knock that off your bucket list at the end of the day. So the drive to San Francisco this weekend, that video, man, I'd say is probably my favorite video next to butts and seats. If you live in the Bay Area, you already know that San Francisco is a crazy place to drive in. So the fact that it handled everything, it was, in my opinion, it was smooth. And again, I didn't intervene, I didn't get out of it or anything like that, which was super nice. So really excited about that video. It's still up and pinned, so if you guys want to watch that San Francisco video, I'd highly encourage it at the end of the day. But other than that, guys, the event went well. I've been very satisfied with 14.3.4 ultimate test right here. There is some blue collar workers on the side, flashing lights. Let's see how FSD reacts to this right here. Nada. Old updates, it would start braking. Older updates, it would pull over, from what I've experienced, but that was super smooth. That was great. What are your guys' thoughts on the pop-ups? It's gonna obviously ask you every single time you park. where you want to park. I personally like it. At the end of the day, I think it's just a good reminder of, hey, you're almost to your destination. And I can't tell you how many countless times I've been like, oh shoot, I don't want to park in the parking lot, I want to park in the garage. So I think it's a good feature. Maybe it might get retuned. I think for frequent visits, I wouldn't ask the question as much, especially if it's just mainly a parking lot. And Elon tweeted that, or posted that it's going to learn our parking habits, because obviously they are able to see our submissions, which the submissions to him and all of the stats they have is parking. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. Because there's just some like destinations that you go to, whether it's the gym, a coffee spot, whatever your daily routine is, FSD is going to remember that. So the fact that they're working on that's going to be amazing. Hopefully the parking orientation comes. That would be freaking awesome. I don't think they should give multiple options. It's either forwards or back. And if you're parked at an angle, FSD should be able to figure that out, just based on the cameras. But I don't think we need multiple options for parking orientation. I think, at the end of the day, it should just be forwards or backwards, and, FSD will figure it out from there. The other thing that, I haven't tested it. I recently tested it, but I don't think I did it on .4 yet. Is what does FSD do with a modern garage? There's a garage I always like to test, and it has no signs. There's no signs for exit. There's none of that. So, how is FSD going to fix that? How are they going to handle that on parking garages with no signs? Just because, some parking garages, for whatever reason, they don't have signs just for aesthetics. I don't know how that works, but I just really want to have, the times I have gone back to that garage, it regresses. So, maybe this week I'll test it again on 14.3.4. Because at the end of the day, is it because it doesn't have the signs? My other question is it because it's just not registering how I got up there? I don't know. The last time I recorded one, it almost tried shoving itself through a tiny area of a building because it looked like a lane. So I got out of it, and then eventually, once I got out of it and pressed the FSD button, it worked. It exited, it did its thing, it came smoothly, but I want to test it to where it just goes without me having to intervene. And that one's a little bit of a tough garage, like I said, because there is no signs once you get to the top. I think the people who designed it, quote unquote, thought about like, oh, well, once you're up here, there's only one way in and two ways out, so they'll be able to figure it out. So, but we're about 6 minutes away from our stop, guys. I always like to ask, what are you guys experiencing on 14.3.4? Is it just as amazing, or is it not what you guys wanted? Let me know in the comments of how 14.3.4 is helping. But let's transition into, hey Grok, give me some good news today that happened in the USA.
Hey, great news from today. A groundbreaking potential cure for lupus is sending patients into remission, letting them chase their dreams. Also, records tumbled at the USATF U20 Championships with an epic hurdles battle.
And there you go, guys. You're able to do stuff like that with Grok. You know what I mean, guys? Like, these drives should be boring. These drives shouldn't be entertaining, except for whether it's avoiding something or a safety thing that, helps you out during your drive. I feel like it's getting closer and closer. The movements, the way it reacts. I feel like this update, honestly, like just everything, man. Just the way it reacts. It does. I feel like with this update, it doesn't think as much as it used to. You know, like I say in all my videos, the best way to pay attention to FSD obviously is the road, but as you're paying attention to the road, look at your steering wheel. Your steering wheel will tell you everything, and that's what I've noticed with FSD is the more this guy is smooth and turns and there's no irks, stutters, or anything like that, that just tells you a lot, right? It tells you that it's making decisions quickly, and that's what we want, and safe, quick decisions, I should say. I don't obviously want it to overreact, but, you know, having FSD since last year, I haven't had any like, oh my gosh, this thing is terrible. It's just more so like, you know, wheel stutters, brake stabbing, you know, just that type of stuff. But like I say in all my videos, you know, it doesn't compromise my safety. And, you know, that's what we should talk about, you know, is at this point, right? Like, it's just more so just being irritated, right? Just little irritations that, like, man, like, if I took over, I'd do this, right? But, like I be in my videos, you know, you want to, at the end of the day, you want this to be safe. The little, oh, you didn't park here, or like, oh, you went behind the building, in front of the building, that's fine. You know, let it be. And, you know, if it's gonna get better, guys, right? Like, I feel like when they make these new updates, they always, obviously the number one priority is safety. You know, safety. Yeah, we'll regress a little bit, but no one got into a car crash. Speaking of car crash, I would definitely like to talk about that viral video that went online that a Model 3 on autopilot decided to fly down the street into someone's home. I would like to say that is false. You know, at FSD or auto steer, which that's what it's called now, it's not called autopilot, it would never do that. You know, like, and Tesla's way too advanced for that, right? And, you know, I think it's kind of messed up that they immediately blame autopilot when they haven't even got the statistics from Tesla, and Tesla's able to see what your car's doing at any second, any minute, any hour of the day. So for someone to blame auto steer, to have them fly down a street and hit a house at that rate, it's total bullcrap. You know, it's total bullcrap. I think at the end of the day, it's just, again, an attack on Tesla saying, oh, FSD did this. All I got to say without getting too upset about it, if you don't have a Tesla, or if you don't even know the idea of what a Tesla is, and you immediately jump on the tech, says a lot. You know, it's like, just like with anything in life, right? Like, if I don't know about something, or if I'm not a part of a space, I'll reach out to someone, you know, that's a part of that space. Like, you know, one of my apprentices, he's a huge Mustang guy. I'm not going to hit up a Skyline guy for a Mustang, you know. I'm not trying to get too crazy on that topic, but it's just funny to me that, you know, they immediately jump on, oh, it's autopilot. But if you rewatch that video, slow it down, cut it up, whatever you want to say, there's no way that FSD or autopilot, or auto steer I should say now, would ever do that, because it's just not, that's not it. That's all I can say. I don't want to get too upset about it, because it has gotten me upset. Don't really like it. All right, guys, let's judge this first parking spot. Not too bad. It's within the lines. It's a wee bit crooked, but I'll take it. The other thing I would like to talk about is how FSD's been handling in standard. Guys, I was a huge hurry Mad Max dude. I challenge any FSD OG or any FSD person in general, try out standard for 2 days and you will be surprised on how good FSD has been. Okay, we don't need to take this, but that's okay. It's going through instead of going around this. But standard has been amazing, guys. I have been on standard. Shout out my boy Devin. When I watched his videos, you know, I noticed that he's in standard. I've just been testing that, honestly, and standard has been great on the freeway, on the highways, you know, tighter roads or whatever. I have not switched back to hurry and Mad Max. I think they're finally figuring out standard, which is awesome. You know, I think that's a great addition, and whatever you guys are doing to continue to work on standard, please continue to work on it because I love it and it's been amazing. Another question I get is, how do you FSD with kids? Usually, you know, when I do have, you know, like my nieces, my nephews, I always ask my uncles and aunts, hey, if I do FSD with them, what setting do you want me on? And usually they're okay with like chilling standard. I always make sure, you know, if I hang out with my nieces or nephews with their aunts and uncles, I always make sure and ask permission, because at the end of the day, that is not my kid. And I respect, you know, being able to make sure that parents would trust me to drive, you know, my nieces and nephews around in FSD. And I've gotten the answer no, which is okay. I can totally respect that at the end of the day. And I've also gotten answers yes, and, you know, when I get back with them, the first question my aunts and uncles ask my nieces or nephews is, how was it? Why don't we get one? You know, it's so cool to be able to bring out my nieces and nephews and show them this. Usually what I do is I'll just, you know, put it on chill. We'll go to have lunch with them and hang out, and they're just absolutely amazed that a car is driving itself to every single destination. You know, my aunts and uncles, they call me crazy, which is fine. I tell them all the time, that's okay. You know, not everyone hopped on the iPhone when they first got it, right? Or when it first released. So, you know, guys, it's starting to get to the point where it's like, man, like, what are we going to talk about next, right? And those things going to be Banish. Banish is definitely one of those that we're going to eventually get. I'm still going to talk about convoy mode because I love that idea. Being able to road trip with, I think it should be a minimum of obviously 2, maximum maybe of 5 to 8. Let me know in the comments of what you guys think, what the rate should be when it, like, or allowable groups, meaning amount of people. I personally think 2 obviously minimum, and then 5 to 8 maximum. All right, FSD, there's a bush right there. Peek and go, just like that, guys. Old updates, it would get stuck, overthink. Nope. It peaked just a little bit, didn't see anyone, I'm out of here. And that's what we like to see, guys. We're reaching our last destination, which is Target. 18-minute drive or 20-minute drive. And, I mean, guys, it's been amazing. You know, obviously, you know, it's about 2 o'clock in the Bay Area, so, you know, it's not super heavy foot traffic right now. You know, I've been testing in areas, and boom, guys, last stop, and it parked perfect. You know, I'd like to end this video on for anyone out there that is wanting to make FSD videos, you know, wanting to hang out with the community or whatever the case may be, if you're shy, if, you know, you feel like you're weird or whatever, Tesla owners are all the above. You know, message me or message just whoever you're comfortable with, you know, who has a Tesla or whatever. Events are happening throughout the country, and you just got to hit up one of the clubs. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I actually got wifey calling, so please like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of the day to watch these videos, and let me know in the comments, guys, if there's any cities, areas of the Bay Area you want me to FSD, and you know, I'll definitely shout you out and tag you on a video. So let me know, guys. But other than that, I hope everyone had a great Monday, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.